Hello everyone, hello! I am back again with another little anime podcast episode. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Yeah, sorry. I was on stream yesterday, but like you might be kind of here. I got a little sick, just a little bit. Uh, excuse me. So that's why I didn't really stream yesterday. I'm a little better now. So and I did want to push this off because this is an exciting episode. You can tell from the title, we'll be going over I gotta mute it. Make sure it's not too loud. It's overpowering me. But yeah, so today we'll be talking about the 2023 remake of the classic Rurouni Kenshin. So we'll be going over it, kind of seeing the difference between it and the original. As you know, it's not a full adaptation at the moment. They're splitting it up into seasons right now. Season 1 is 24 episodes, which covers, like, I guess you could say, like, the first arc of Rurouni Kenshin, the original anime. Then season 2 is supposed to be covering the next major arc, which is airing now. Actually, what episode are they even on? It's like 6 or 7? Give me one second. I think I'm gonna look that up. Let's see. Rurouni Kenshin 2023. I guess if it's season 2. Yes, it seems so far they are up to 7 episodes. The last episode came out the 15th. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, so season 2 is supposed to be covering the next, like, major arc, which most people will know. If you watch the original, it's probably, like, their most favorite arc in Rurouni Kenshin. Like I said, I'll kind of go over comparing the two, what what the remake is doing compared to what maybe the anime did, what the differences are, and just seeing, like, is it, I mean, so far it's supposed to be like a faithful adaptation to the manga, so it's not gonna have any filler. Basically, it's supposed to be like a full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or the Fruits Basket, pretty much like a remake, cutting out all the filler and just focusing on the main story. One of the things people was worrying about, not worrying about, but is wondering about, if whether or not they are going to do a full adaptation of the entire manga, because and I think I've talked about this before, and I know other people probably have talked about it as well. The original anime kind of ended off weird after the Shishio arc, which is what we're currently in now in season 2. Now the rest of it's just filler. But apparently in the manga, and I have read the manga to know that it is true, and what they didn't do was kind of disappointing, which I do hope this anime adaptation does it. Basically, there's supposed to be like one more arc after the Shishio arc, kind of like another thing of from Kenshin's past comes back that involves everyone, but this whole group. It's so good. It's a really good arc. I know there's like a movie OVA or something like that that kind of interprets parts from that arc, but basically like skips out like a lot of the fight scenes, like a big huge event that happens in that last arc, the what leads to it, what effects it has on the characters, and kind of getting the conclusion and towards the end. There actually is also a continuation manga kind of following the events of the end of the manga, like back where everyone's older, everyone's, grown and whatnot, so, and there's like another major event that's happening that pulls Kenshin in. So, but we're talking about that, like I said. Today, this will be about the remake. First 24 episodes, season 1. So before we do that, as usual, I thought maybe we do a quick little anime quiz. This one is guessing animes by the opening songs. I think I should be fine. I shouldn't get any copyrights from this, only because one, it's only been playing like the first few seconds, I believe, which should be fine. I don't think it would be playing the whole song. If it's past more than that, then I will pause it. Hopefully it doesn't do that. So actually, it's supposed to be playing it, so let's turn off the music for now. Let's jump into this, and then we'll jump into our anime review. Oops, uh, let's see any anime updates, 'cause I did see something pop up. I know, welcome to Demon School Rurouni. Looks like got a confirmation for a season 4. The latest episode in the Fairy Tale Thousand Year Quest released, and it's been blowing up. I won't spoil for anyone who hasn't read it, who hasn't watched it yet, but basically, uh, some canon stuff, not canon, but kind of a lot of people said canon was revealed in this. Sort of, kind of. If you watch the episode, you know exactly what I mean. If you haven't, yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much been blowing up the internet. There's clips of pretty much this latest episode. I don't think I saw, the next episode of the Ranma One Half remake is out. They're up to episode 7 as well, I believe. So, that's out on Netflix if you guys haven't checked it up. I'm just trying to see. Was there any other, like, confirmation? Like, anime wise? No, I just know, like, this fairy tale episode was just blowing up the internet. It was literally all over the place. Yeah, welcome to Demon School Rurouni Season 4 anime officially announced by Crunchyroll. Let's see. I don't think I see. At least I don't see anything else besides anything fairy tale related. The latest fairy tale episode. That's pretty much all I'm seeing. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I've seen all 3 seasons of Welcome to Demon School Rurouni, so I am interested in kind of seeing where the story is supposed to be continuing on from here. Especially since I haven't read the manga, if there is a manga of it, and if it's a light novel, I definitely haven't read it. So, but so let's jump into this. Like I said, hopefully this doesn't get me like copy strike or anything like that. I mean, if it's playing like the first like few seconds, it should be fine. And then let me just make sure the audio's connected. Yes, all right, should be all good. All right, so let's play this, and then we'll jump into our anime review for today. I think I have to play it. What the? I'm not hearing anything. What the hell? Is it Anohana? Oh, you're lying, April. Okay, I think it's supposed to be playing, but I'm not hearing anything. And if I'm not hearing it, then you guys aren't hearing it either. What the hell? Did they maybe mute it? The World by Nightmare. I don't. Tokyo Ghoul? I don't. Death Note. If I could hear it, I probably would get it, but it's not playing anything. At least not for me, it's not. Cruel Angel Thesis by Yoko Takahashi. Evangelion? Okay. The angel kinda gave it away. Forget Me Not. Oh, fudge. Why I feel like it sounds familiar? Oh, was it? No, I don't think it was it this? I don't know what that is. I don't think I've read Kiss of Death by Miyoko Nakahashi. Hashima. Kiss of Death. Is this Darling in the no. Maybe Darling in the Franxx? Okay. Oh, I know this. Crossing Field by Lisa. This is Sword Art Online. First opening. Ah, such a good opening. I love the Sword Art Online openings. Pray by Tommy Heavenly 6. I don't think it was a Rurouni Kenshin. Maybe it's like a Tama one? No, it's Noragami. Oh, it is! What was that other one? Moonlight Desu. Oh yeah, this is Sailor Moon's. Of course, a huge Sailor Moon fan. Like I was ever gonna forget that. Well, the audio's not working. I'll just put this music back on. Everlasting Shine by Tomorrow X Together. I think it's a Black Clover one. I don't remember, no. Gold Trigger, Chrono Basket. Maybe this one? Oh, it is a Black Clover opening? What opening is that? Fire by Boretto. Devilman, Crybaby, Violet Evergarden, Parasite, or Death Parade. I haven't seen any of these. Well, I've seen Parasite, but I don't think so. Devil? I'm so mad on this. I wish I could hear it, but it's not playing for me. That's so odd. Like, it really is not playing for me. Red Swan by Yoshi Kiki featured Hype. Maybe Chainsaw Man? No, maybe Kakaguri? Oh, Attack of Titan. What opening is that? Made by Sid. Tokyo Avengers, Berserk, Black Butler, Overlord. Oh, Overlord maybe? Oh, Black Butler? I've watched that like once. We are by Yoshi Hilda. Natoshi putting One Piece, Boruto, or Fairy Tail. Maybe Fairy Tail? Oh, it's One Piece. Okay. Unravel. That's Tokyo Ghoul, right? Yeah. That's the one I know kind of by heart. Kickback by Kenshi Yana. Kickback. Deadman Wonderland, Chainsaw Man, Doedoro, or Gats. Deadman Wonderland? Oh, Chainsaw Man. By Survive, Parada. Full Metal Brotherhood, Vinland Saga, Samurai Champloo, or Doro. Samurai Champloo. No, Vinland Saga? Beastars, Bannerfish, My Hero Academia, Oshimoko. No, that's not that. No. That's got something else. Beastars, maybe? Okay. Oh, this is that ending for Demon Slayer. I think during the Entertainment District arc, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm gonna look these up and play like a quick. What the fudge? I thought it was gonna be playing, but it's not playing anything. Sakura Kiss. Is that Onorai's? No, is that what it's called? Okay. I know it was like Sakura something. I couldn't remember if it was Kiss or something else. Kita, Ninja Kamui, The Eminence and Shadows, Hellsing, Shikatsu. JJK? Okay. I guess that. Oh my god, I did so bad. Okay, no. That was bull. They're supposed to be playing, but I didn't play any of them. So you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna grab the names. I'm gonna look these up real quick. What the fudge? I won't get copy strike. I mean, I'm only gonna play it the first like few seconds. Okay, this one was for Year 9 in April. I actually don't remember this opening at all. Yeah, I don't remember this opening at all. We go here. That up. Alright, so this is the opening for Your Lie in April. Trying to make it smaller. Oh, smaller. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna play it for like 3 seconds. Well, I'll do the first like 5 seconds. But this is pretty much it. Okay, yeah. I haven't watched. Well, I did, but that was a while ago, so I don't remember the opening at all. Okay, so the next one was Death Note. So let's look that one up. Okay. Oh, hold on. Add. Okay, go. Okay, play the first 5 seconds. Okay. Which is funny, because if I heard it, I would have known. Okay, this one we got right. This was Evangelion, so let's look that one up real quick. Oh, let me blink it, just in case some random ad pops up. Okay. I wish it was, there we go. Alright, so this is Evangelion. Yep. I think if I had played, I probably would have done a bit better. Okay, so this one was next. That was for the anime remake. I don't think I've ever watched, because this doesn't sound familiar at all. Okay, yeah, no. I don't remember that anime at all. I think I'll just leave the, because it sounds like you guys can still hear it. This next one was Kiss of Death, which was the Darling and the Franxx. Yeah, if I had heard it, I would have definitely gotten it. Ah, yay. I'm so upset that it wasn't. I don't know why. I was supposed to play it and it didn't. Okay, but next one we got right completely. It is Sword Art Online Crossing Field. Yep. That one I know by heart. Next one was Prey, which apparently is a Gintama one. Now that one I definitely probably wouldn't have gotten because there's so many openings. Oh, this is the first one? Okay. Looks like it's a very first opening for Gintama. Okay, interesting. The next one we got we got right was Moonlight Desu, the opening for Sailor Moon. Now this one I know kind of by heart. Da, 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 da. Yep. Next one was, what opening is this? Because this is the Everlasting Shine, which apparently was a Black Clover opening. Which opening was that? Oh, it's the 12th one. Okay. I don't think I ever knew the name, but I know, yeah, okay. As soon as it popped up, I'm like, oh, this opening. The one that played during the kind of filler arc before they got into the Spade Kingdom arc. This one's actually pretty good. I like this. I like all the Black Clovers. I think I like all the Black Clover openings. Okay, next one was Flyer for Death Parade. I hadn't watched that anime, but I think I've heard the opening before. I heard it was pretty good. Alright, let's see. Okay. Red Swan. I thought was Kakaguri, but actually was an Attack on Titan. Which opening was that? Was that maybe for one of the final season ones I haven't watched? I think it is. Oh no, this is for season 3. Part 1's opening. Okay. I do remember this opening. Yeah. Okay, next one was Imminent by Sid, which was a Black Butler opening. Particularly the Book of Circus. Okay, next was We Are, which was a One Piece opening. Which I know that's another one that's got like 20 openings at this point. Oh, is this the very first one? Yeah, that was the first opening. Next was Unravel, which I know that one. That's the Tokyo Ghoul first opening. Such a good opening. Yeah, everyone knows that. As soon as you hear that. Next one was Kickback, which I guess is the opening for Chainsaw Man. Haven't watched Chainsaw Man yet, which I know is a total crime. I need to get on that. Oh, hold on, freaking ad. Oh, the animation's cool. I don't think I've ever seen the opening. Let's see, what was next? Miyai Jojo, which apparently is a Vinland Saga opening. Okay, looks like it's the first one. Huh, okay. I haven't watched Vinland Saga, so I wouldn't have gotten that. This next one was Kobashi Monster, which is a B-Star opening. Maybe the first one? I haven't watched B-Stars. Oh no, actually this is the second opening from what the thing's telling me. Oh, I don't the browse. Okay. Last one. Wait, no, not last one. The next one was one of the endings for Demon Slayer. It was during. Oh, wait, no. Oh, never mind. Actually, this is the opening, not the ending. This is the opening. Well, duh, because the test is for opening. But this is this is the one for the Entertainment District. Like, I think the singer also did the ending as well, so I think that's why I got it confused. But yeah, but this one. So good. Sakura Kiss. That's the Owen High School one. Very iconic. Yeah, very iconic. And the last one was the one by Eve, which was the Jujutsu Kaisen opening. Is that the first one or the second one? No, this is the first one. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Alright, so, and that was it. That's all the openings that were on this list. I'm so mad it wasn't playing them. If I had played, I probably would have done a bit better. A lot of them I would have recognized. But the fact that it wasn't, but what can you do? So let's exit out of that. Let me go here. Let's put back on our music. So let's turn that off. Put that back. And let me get that up. Here we go. Alright. So, as you can see here, we'll be discussing the Rurouni Kenshin 2023 remake. It came out summer of 2023. First aired July 7th, all the way to December 15th. The producers were Aniplex, Daisu, Animax, Fuji TV, and Show. Of course, the source material is the manga. Its genre is action, it's the historical and samurai, and it does follow on in the shonen, I guess fold you can call it. So, here's a synopsis that popped up on my anime list. In the late 19th century, at the cool time with the Bakumatsu period comes to a close, a new Meiji era marks the age of restoration for Japan. With the war over, the infamous hero Hito Batosai disappears into thin air, leaving only his legend behind. Years later, a seemingly plain wanderer named Kenshin Himura encounters Karu I can never pronounce her last name. Kamini? The owner of a struggling local dojo in Tokyo. Karu pursues a self-proclaimed Batosai who roams the street, indiscriminately killing citizens and police officers. Furthermore, the warrior professes to use the Kamiya Kashin style, a sword style developed by Kaoru's father, deeply rooted in the essence of life, not death. Kenshin decides to help Kaoru take down the imposter and restore her father's dojo. Unbeknownst to all, Kenshin is none other than the real warrior whose name still terrifies people. Although Kaoru eventually learns the truth, his oath to atone for his murderous history by bloodily protecting the weak moves her, and she welcomes Kenshin to stay at her dojo. However, Kenshin's ideals are soon challenged by ghosts of the past and enemies of the present. So, like it says here, this one is the remake of the original anime adaptation, utilizing new animation technology to make it appealing to both new viewers and maturity audience of the series. It also had a Blu-ray release and DVD in 8 volumes by Aniplex October 23rd, or 25th of 2023 to May 29th of 2024. So, like it says, this is pretty much just them remaking the original anime adaptation. Actually, let me bring up the original. I know the original one was about 100 and something episodes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the original came out in 1996. Wow, that's what it was. But then again, we didn't really get it. That was back in the day, so back then we didn't really get animes until like later. Because the original one, we didn't get that until like the early 2000s. I remember that coming out like around 2000. It was around the time that what was the name? It was around the time like Naruto was just starting out was when we got that. So, but yeah, the original series came out in 1996. 3 seasons with. Why is it not showing its episodes? Hold on. Really? That was more than that. With 95 episodes, apparently. Let's see. So, like I said, basically it kind of starts off, we're learning that there was apparently this huge war, kind of will be shaping Japan to, it's like trying to keep it up to date with, you know, all the new technologies, maybe from overseas. Pretty much the age of the samurai is coming towards an end. People are now towards like guns and weapons and like that. So in their eyes, swords are kind of becoming more obsolete, but people are focusing more on like guns and machinery. At this time, we do see a wanderer going around. Kaoru stops him, thinking that he's the Batosai, but when he like jumps out the way, but ends up falling through some stuff. And she is confused. She's like, wait, there's no way you could be the, you know, notorious killer that's been going around killing people. He's like, nope, sorry, that's not me. I just walked into town today. Plus, with this sword, I couldn't really kill anyone if I tried. She pulls out the sword and sees that it's a reverse blade. Basically, with that, he's able to, you know, use his sword to fight, but it doesn't have any lethal, repercussions to it since it's on the dull side. So he's able to like knock people out and just really just kind of just hurt them, but he isn't able to kill them unless he turns the sword over to the sharp side. So when she sees this, of course she does reprimand him. You know, with them being in the Meiji era now, there are rules that people can't just walk around with swords anymore. If you do, you get arrested. But as she's doing that, she hears like police talking about that they found him, that he has struck again. So she decides to go after him, tries to take him down, but can't. She's only using a wooden sword, but he's using a real one. It cuts her wooden sword in half, cutting her in the process. He's ready to kill her, the imposter, when Kenshin jumps in and saves her. At the time, the imposter leaves, shouting that he is using her family's sword style to do all these murders, smearing her family name. Of course, she doesn't want that, and this is kind of her reason for why she's been doing this. Actually, and there is a bit of a difference between this and the first episode, kind of. I would say this first episode and the other first episode are kind of one-to-one. The only difference is that apparently in this one, and in the manga, there was this old man that's been living with Kaoru that she's taken in. He's telling her like, hey, you know, you're just alone. a lone girl, your family, your dad is dead, your mom's been long dead, it's just you. Don't you think it'd be better, for a young girl like yourself to, just sell the dojo off to someone else? And then, go live your life somewhere. You can go get happily married, and be taken care of by someone else than, struggling to keep this dojo afloat. But she's like, no, she wants to keep her family name alive, keep it going, keep the dojo that her father, brought up going. So she doesn't want to do that. Kenshin does kind of get more involved. She lets her stay with him, but they do have a few inappropriate interactions that kind of happen not by like just pretty much like pure accident. The whole oh, I didn't realize you were in here bathing or changing your clothes kind of thing. So she like kind of kicks him out, but then we find out towards the end that the fake Batosai was a old student of her father's. Is that right? Or am I getting it mixed up? I think in the old one he was an old student. No, I'm getting it mixed up. In the old one he was an old student of the father, but he was more willing to like kill. He saw swordsmanship as a means to kill and hold this power over people. People didn't do what you want, you could easily just kill them, and using that threat to get your way. Kaoru's father, of course, didn't want that mindset being transferred to the others, so they had a fight where he did something to damage his hand. I forget what it was, broke something in his hand, so that way he couldn't wield the sword in his dominant hand anymore, making it so he would never wield the sword again. So he came back to get revenge by smearing her family's name and getting into the dojo. But in the remake, if I'm remembering correctly, it turns out that the old man and the imposter were actually brothers, and they were doing all of this in the hopes that it would drive all the business away from Kaoru's family, so she would have no choice but to sell the dojo, and so that they can get their hands on it and then profit off of, I forgot what it was, you see the land her dojo is on will be very profitable in the future, so they want to bank on it, but of course they can't do that if it's all under her name and her family's name, so they wanted to do this so that her family would lose its credibility. She would have no choice but to relinquish the land, them then swooping in and getting it. So in that, they forced her to sign a ownership paper to them by cutting her hand and having her stamp it with her blood, and then they were going to kill her when Kenshin jumps in, kind of already at this point figuring out what happened, and decides that he can't let this go anymore. Kaoru was even not knowing who he was, saw that she was a kind soul, was willing to take people in even at the cost of her own safety and whatnot. And then she talks about what she believes her ideology is for swords and swordsmanship, that it's not a tool for death and destruction and fighting, that it's used to protect yourself and the weak and those you love. Kenshin, hears that and tells her that's all nice and good, and her ideology comes from someone who's never been a part of war, who never had to use his skills for fighting and killing. It pretty much comes from the ideal of someone who's never had to experience that horror, and even though in his mind he does believe the sword is for killing, he much prefers her ideals as it's more peaceful and can kind of bring change. So in that moment, the people are about to attack Kenshin and kill Kaoru as well, when Kenshin shows off his skills. Once they kind of more recognize him by his red hair and the scar on his cheek, that's when they realize that he is the real Batosai. He also announces, you also got one more thing wrong. Whatever the sword style that the real Batosai uses isn't the style that Kaoru's family uses, or whatever technique they're using. It's the Hitsen Mitsurugi style. So when he says that, and of course when they recognize him then more by his hair and then his cut on his cheek, that's when they realize, oh crap, This is the real Batosai here. Immediately wipes the floor with all the goons, knocks out the big guy, and then chases off the other brother, the old man, pretty much saying like, she took you and she did all this, and here you were plotting behind her to steal her home and land, and when she didn't, you know, kind of go with your plan, you were willing to kill her, and force her to give up the land anyways. So, ends up scaring him off. And in that moment, he turns away. He tells Kaoru, "Hey, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean to, but with my reputation, I brought all this trouble to you. But I will, just contact police, let them know what happened. They'll deal with it, and you won't have to worry about them anymore." In that moment, she's like, "Wait, where are you going?" And he's like, "Well, now that you know who I really am, I can't stay here. If I do, it would just bring you more trouble. More people from my past might come after me, getting you more involved. I can't do that." He's like, "Plus, I am a wanderer. I'm forced to just be wandering this earth. Staying in one location isn't really what I'm supposed to be doing." But in that moment, she says that she doesn't care who he is, that, she wants him to stay, and she doesn't want him to stay just because he's the Batosai. That didn't matter to her. She wants the Rurouni Kenshin to stay, which does end up warming his heart, hearing that someone wants him around for who he is, not for, his past and what he did. So he does agree to end up staying, and then there's this really funny moment in the end of the first episode, basically, where she's like, "Wait a minute, if you were in the war, wouldn't you be like way older?" She's like, "Wait a minute, because apparently in this at this time it's been 10 years since the war." So she's like, "Wait a minute, you look way too young to be someone who fought in the last war. How old are you exactly?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm 28." And she's like, "What?" Which is pretty funny because it brings it back up into episode 2, where, he's doing some chores around the house, and she still can't just get over. She's like, "There's no way you are 28 and you fought in this huge war. You have this like iconic reputation. Everyone knows the Batosai. Like, everyone kind of and still fears you, and you're only 28." She's like, "I thought you would have been like way older, or something like that." Like, it kind of just like throws her off. She's like, "That means when this war ended, you were 18, dude. Like, that means you were fighting in this war when you were in your teens. That's insane." Like, it really baffles her, which it is funny because when you I remember in the old anime, we kind of find out his age a little later. They never really specify how old Kenshin was. To like episodes later, something happened, and one of the other characters like, "Oh yeah, Kenshin, he's like 28. I'm like, "Wait, what?" I mean, I figured he was older, but I didn't think he was like still that young. Like, oh my god, 28. So when she puts it in perspective, she's like, "That whole war ended like 10 years ago. That means you were 18 when that happened. When the war ended. That means you were fighting in that when you were in your teens." It didn't say how long the war was, but I would assume like maybe, I don't know. It depends. It could have been like a 5-year war or something. Like, it depends, but that means he was like in his teens when he fought this war, and when what is the age? What do you consider an adult when you're in Japan? Is it 18 like here, or is it somewhere else? When are you a legal adult in Japan? In Japan, you are considered a legal adult at the age of 18. This change took effect on April 1st, 2022, and was the first time in over 140 years that the legal age of adulthood was changed. Really? Before the change, the legal age of adulthood in Japan was 20. Oh, that was even later. That's interesting. The change was made to encourage more social participation for young people, and to give 18 and 19-year-olds new responsibility and freedoms. Some of the things that 18-year-olds can do without parental consent include signing a smartphone contract, taking out a loan, and getting a credit card. The coming of age ceremony, which marks the official start of adulthood in Japan, was previously celebrated by 20-year-olds. So that means if he by the end time the war ended and he was 18, he still wasn't even a legal adult by Japan standards. If this is if the age of when you are considered a legal adult is 20, that's only that is back in the day. He was still 20. Okay, no, here we go. This feudal period. Boys were considered adult at 15, girls at 13. 1876, the Meiji government set the age of adulthood at 20 for both genders. Okay. So, I mean, it's supposed to be during the Meiji era, right? So that means, yeah, because it doesn't really say when the war ended. I would have to look that up again. But it would depend. Either he was already considered an adult at the age of 15, or if it's around the time that they set it to be 20, he would still have not been considered a legal adult. That means he was a child when he did all this. Like, still legally would have been a child. That's insane. And it's kind of funny how they brought that up, and she's like freaking out. She's like, you were a kid when you did this. Like, you were a kid and you created this reputation, you did all this stuff. Like, your name is known not worldwide, but like country-wise. So the fact that, it kind of like baffles her. She's like, there's no way you did all this and you are that young. It's like the fact that you're still like 28 is insane. And he kind of remarks, she's like, would it have been better if I was older, with my reputation and everything? Would it have been better if I was someone who was like already in his like late 30s, 40s, maybe even in my 50s if that was the case? And she was like, actually, I don't like that. Kind of like, no, I mean, it's insane thinking that you were that young when you did all this. But she's like, it would have been even weirder if you were. I don't know. She's like, I'll keep it being weird that you were doing all this and being that young. So the next episode kind of follows some more about what's going on in this Meiji government. At the moment, there are still a bunch of like corruption and power struggles going on. Right now, the police are the only ones who can officially walk around with swords. So there are a lot of unsavory people who are taking advantage of that and are, using that to like wield their weight around and whatnot with other people. So, excuse me, sorry. So when Kenshin kind of when he gets stopped by some police guys who are like, hey, you shouldn't be carrying around a sword right now. This is the Meiji era, you aren't permitted to do that. We also do find out that this like some politician or some type of high level official is looking for Kenshin. We don't know why at the moment, but Kaoru helps him trying to find locations of where he could be, kind of not knowing he's somewhere else. But in the moment, Kenshin gets stopped with the police. I forget what was it. Was they stopped him to get a sword, or they stopped someone else. Were taking it like way too far. Kenshin jumped in and they noticed he had the sword. So they were like, "Oh, so you're disrupting police work and you're carrying a sword. We'll take him in." Kaoru notices what's going on, and when she starts running to Kenshin to kind of see more what's going on, one of the guards is like, "Oh, if that girl was you, she might be an accomplice." He tells her to run, but in that moment they kind of slash her, break all her gears, her ribbon in her hair, and are holding her up with swords to her neck, basically getting ready to do terrible things, saying like, "Hey, if you don't turn yourself in, this girl's gonna suffer. Maybe we'll start off by cutting off all her clothes in public. That'd be such a shame for a young girl to be shamed like that in public." And that, of course, gets Kenshin really upset. He was like, "Okay, now I was just holding off for you guys. Now you're taking it way too far." Takes these guys, put them in their place. At one point, even the citizens were like, "Hey, that's too much. You're just overstepping your bound. You're abusing your power. Like, you're no better than the criminals you're trying to get rid of." And then one moment there, one of the guys, I think like the head police guy at that area, was like, okay, you're all disrupting justice. Arrest them all. If anyone resists, kill them. Again, and once again, triggers Kenshin into stepping in. That's when he, finally takes them on, because that they had been trying to egg him on this whole time. Quickly takes care of the guy. We see the official come in the background, and he's watching Kenshin, explaining, his fight style, how formidable he is, and how the police guys there didn't really stand a chance. When Kaoru when they get to Kenshin, she's like, hey, we need to get out of here, we draw too much attention. Went into the official. Turns out it's an old ally of Kenshin's from back during the war, who's now top level government official. And the reason why he was looking for Kenshin is because he wants Kenshin to join the government, give him a high position. With him and his reputation, they believe that they could start pushing for more things to be happen. With him in the helm, but he's like, sorry, that's not really what I'm into right now. I much prefer, instead of being told for what my sword should fight for and whatnot, I'd rather use my skills and abilities to help those less fortunate, those around me. Whether I'm just walking around and I help around a person who's being mistreated, or if I see some injustice, I'll step in. And he's like, I feel more at peace with that. And it's like a cute moment where he apologizes. Kaoru, her getting involved, her ribbon getting cut. And she, of course, assures him, listen, I wanted you here. I'm not worried about your past. That's not why I want you by my side. None of that matters to me. Which is really cute. It's so good. Let's see. I'll say the next episode is kind of what's episode 2 of the old anime. Basically, you get introduced to, oh, no, wait, actually I missed some stuff. But then, I think halfway through that, we read this little boy. He, was going around pickpocketing, stuff for money. That's Yahiko, the little boy. Let me see if he pops up in, right here, little boy in green. So that's Yahiko. He's a pretty prominent character. He's from a family of warriors and samurais, but of course, like I said, around this time, samurais are kind of becoming obsolete. His family lost their reputation. I think his dad died in the war. The mom was trying to do what she could to stay afloat now that her husband was gone. To the point that I think they even said at one point she started selling her body to make money for her and Yahiko, but it ended up getting sick and dying. Forcing Yahiko to become an orphan, being taken in by these group of guys who are taking advantage of him, forcing him to go around stealing for them, and when he doesn't, they beat him up and treat him horribly. When he runs into Kenshin, he wants Kenshin to train him, so that he could fight, but Kenshin's like, sorry, I have no intention of passing down my fighting style to anyone. And whatnot. Them kind of bonding over that. Him, seeing that he still has that samurai spirit in him. For being someone so young. And it does kind of affect Yahiko as well, because at one point the group tell him hey, you need to make this certain amount of money by today. If not, there's repercussions. And he was going to, but after meeting Kenshin and Kaoru, it changes him. He decides, I can't do this anymore. I can't be doing this disgraceful things. I'm bringing dishonor to meet my family and to myself. They take him and they just start beating him up and whatnot, saying hey, we brought you into the world. We brought you here when you were pretty much all lost and alone. You owe us. Doing all this, and we're about to kill him when Kenshin, so I don't know how he found him so fast, but basically finds them, has taken out all the guys that were guarding the entrance, comes in to get Yahiko. There was this one scene, maybe I could find it. It was really cool. He jumps in and one of the guys is about to attack him, being like, how dare you, jump in, do you know who we are, blah blah blah. And I think that he sees how beat up Yahiko is and what they did with him, Let me see. Let me see if I can find like a clip of it. It was just really. You can't even describe it. It's so good. Let's see, episode 3. Oh, I think this is it. Someone did a clip. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, let me pause it. Let me get that. And I got it in the dub, so I mean, fine anyway. But yeah, so let me pause that for a quick sec. Make sure that that's on. But yeah, this is what he does, and it's so cool. Like it was so fast. There you go.
I am Kenshin Himura of Rurouni. I have come to ask you to handle.
Whoops, hold on. I think the volume was still off. Alright, here we go.
I am Kenshin Himura of Rurouni. I have come to ask you to hand the boy over to me.
Yeah, like hell we'll hand him over. Yeah, Gasuke, you a samurai too? I'll take care of you first and then I'll...
Like, what the fuck?
Stay there and be quiet. I was in the middle of a conversation.
Like, he did that so fast, and he didn't even look at him. The fact... You were just like, oh my god. Like, the fact that he did that so fast, and then, like, you could see in his face, like, he's so upset. He's so mad at what they did, you know, them beating up on this poor kid. Was straight up about to kill him. You know, using his, like, will and his love for his family and the reputation and the honor they had against him to, like, force him to do these evil things on their behalf. Like, really got Kenshin upset. Like, but that whole scene was just crazy. And then, like, I think, like, the boss, like, sees the look in Kenshin's eye, and he's like, when the other members like, boss, give us the order, let's go out there. He's like, are you nuts? Did you not see the look in that guy's eyes? He's like, y'all wouldn't stand a chance. If he wanted, he would have killed us all on, like, in seconds, like, on the spot. But the fact that he didn't, we got lucky. He was like, absolutely not. He like, nah, that look in his eye, that's not someone you mess with. And then they like walk out, and I think Yahiko sees all the other people who were, like, I guess guarding up to that point, just knocked out all over the place, and he's like, whoa. So it brings him back to the dojo, where he tells him, listen, if you want to learn how to be stronger, stay here with us, and you can learn the Kami Katsin style. I think that's how it's called, or how you say. Basically, you know, giving at this point, also at this time, even though her like family's reputation and whatnot has gotten better, Shikaru wasn't getting any new students. So with this, she ends up getting a new student to teach her family swordsmanship with, and you know, also helping keep Yahiko off of the wrong path. So next episode, we do get introduced to another character that ends up becoming part of the crew. We got Sanosuke, who is I guess you can say like a fight for hire. Basically, he was part of this group that fought in the previous war, and you know, wanted to make a change, wanted to make a difference, but turns out that I forget what not the rebels, was it? Basically, the group that Kenshin was a part of, I guess, ended up betraying his group, and like pretty much something happened, and I guess they blamed, instead of them taking responsibility for what happened, turned around and blamed Sanosuke and his groups for it, and like told the leader that he had to take, you know, responsibility for what happened. You know, I think the leader tried to go to like negotiate, but it didn't work out. The next time he sees him, he is dead. They decapitated him and was putting his head on display, you know, for, I guess, to give a warning to others, like, hey, if you know, you defy us, like, you will end up like this guy, really, like, screwing over, like, that was a fucked up scene, like, oh my god, like, it was, and he was, like, a kid, like, probably somewhere around, like, Yahiko's age, when this all happened, so it, like, really, like, solidified that, you know, he hates, you know, the people that, I guess, worked on the side of Kenshin. They were like, you know, we were trying to do good. We were just trying to make the world a better place. But you turned around and used us, and then you killed our leader just to cover your own skins. But before all that, Karu, Kenshin, and Yahiko go out to eat. They're eating when these guys are getting drunk and just spouting out like political stuff and what their views are, and just causing a whole scene and making the whole restaurant uncomfortable. At the point that they're just throwing stuff at each other whenever they have a disagreement. And look, Kenshin takes a blow to the head, which we later find out was that he could have dodged it with his reflexes, but if he did, it would have flown straight into Karu, who was right in front of him, and would have hit her in the face. So, to avoid that, he just took the hit himself, which, oh, that's so sweet. So, you know, when Sanosuke, like, drags the guys out and they have a fight, and when he takes out one guy, one of the other people who were with him was about to pull out a sword. That's when Kenshin's like, hey, listen, I let this go, like, let you guys do what you do, but he's like, listen, the minute you pull out that sword, it gets real, and you don't want me getting involved. So he was like, just put that away, grab your friends, and just walk away now. Pretty much like putting like his sword, like, not out, but like pretty much sticking his back, and he's like, he's like, listen, I was letting y'all do what you do, but he's like, the moment you pull out that sword, that's when it starts to get real, and when it gets real, I'm jumping in. And he was like, unless you wanted to get to that point and starts getting serious, I suggest you take your friends and just go home. And it's not worth it. And that's when he points out to the others. They were like, oh, he was like, oh, well, you know, he was like, hey, you know, you're pretty strong. I like you. Let's have a fight. He's like, oh no, I'm not that strong. And that's when he also points out, he's like, yeah, sure, so whatever you say. He was like, you totally took that blow to the head on purpose, so it shows you have skills. And Kaoru was like, wait, what? And he was like, oh yeah, if he had dodged, that would have hit you like straight in the face. So he chose not to dodge to take the blow from you. You know, kind of seemed like, oh, you know, you got a good heart, good character, you know, you could have dodged, but then your friend would have gotten hurt in front of you, so you took the blow for yourself. Kind of groaning on that, but then when he finds out that Kenshin's part of the group, you know, of the group from the other people that, you know, caused that huge trauma with him, and then he ends up getting hired to take out Kenshin from the, old man and the other, pretty much the two brothers who were trying to take over Kaoru's family land, pretty much saying like, hey, we have a strong fighter that we want you to take out. It's the legendary Batosai the Manslayer. That's what they called him in the old anime. They called him Batosai the Manslayer, but here they called him the Hitokiri Batosai, which is kind of the same thing. I think in the English they just literally like straight up translated as Batosai the Manslayer, but it's supposed to be like Hitokiri Batosai. So he's like, oh, really? And when he describes, you know, who he is, of course, at this point, he's already knows, oh, this the guy I met in the store. You know, finding out who he is, they end up having this huge fight. You know, he learns more about his past, explaining what happened to him, why he feels his hatred for, you know, the people that Kenshin stood with. But Kenshin, you know, they end up having this really cool fight. Kenshin does end up winning, basically saying, like, listen, I understand what happened and it wasn't right. There are good and bad people, but you were willing to bring in innocent people, you know, into something that had nothing to do with them, and that's something I can't stand for. I don't think you're a bad person, you know, you just got caught up in this, but I know with time things can heal, things can change, and I know they can if we all kind of work together. And another thing we could know about Shinosuke is, like, he loves to eat out and whatnot, but he has a habit of not paying his tab. So when they see him again, you know, after his fight with Kenshin, he's all banged up and beaten, but he's treating it like, oh, it's not a big deal. These scars and wounds are nothing, and all three of them all poke him in different areas, and he just crumbles to the ground like, hey, that hurt, what the hell? But, you know, saying, like, he's gonna take him up on his offer. Like, no more fighting for hire. Gonna find his own path in life and whatnot. But as he leaves, the restaurant here, it's the same restaurant they met the first time. The owner comes out, and she's like shocked, and they're like, "Hey, what happened?" And she was like, "Oh, he left without paying again." And they're like, "Really?" So next 2 episodes are kind of pretty one-to-one for what happened in the anime. Basically, there's this old Batos manslayer that's going around killing like government officials and whatnot. So the police came in the hopes of recruiting Kenshin into helping them, kind of explaining like what's going on, what happened, what's his abilities. Kenshin recognizes it immediately, saying like, yeah, this guy is a former Hitoki. And he's like, well, I'm not 100% sure, but I have an idea who this might be, so I will join in. Shinosuke at this point, is part of the group. He comes over to hang out, but most of the time to try to get a free meal out of the others or get some money out of them so that he can get some food, since he's not fighting for money anymore. But he decides, to go back up Kenshin. We meet the guy that's gonna be guarding, and it turns out he's just like this big, like kind of like not powerful, I guess, but like this politician guy who's just throwing his weight around, throwing his money around, saying, "Listen, I know what I'm doing. You policemen just need to shut up and do as you're told. I know I'm paying your bills, paying your taxes, and whatnot, paying your salary. I already hired like 100 mercenaries. This guy's not gonna get to me. Just being really disrespectful, not listening to police." That is until Kenshin walks in and he sees him, and he is shocked and awe. And it turns out, looks like Kenshin guarded him back during the war. So he already knows who Kenshin is, and he's like, wow, you've really changed from when you were back in the day, and I guarded you from a bunch of mercenaries who were trying to kill you, But he's like, I know there's only for one night, because they were like, well, we brought in some special people to, help. And he's like, why do I need special people from the police? I got this. Until Kenshin comes, and he's like, oh, shit. And he's like, I'm sorry, it's only for one night, but I do hope you can bear with it. He's like, yes, of course, sir. No problem at all. And then Shinosuke comes in, and he's like, really? These are the guys you hired? He's like, I beat all of these guys at least once. So he's like, yeah. So that's when they get more into it. Then the assassin pops up. Turns out it is a former Hidokiri who was a part of the Shinsengumi at the time, who apparently went like rogue, started killing even his own comrades. Had a scuffle with Kenshin, but after seeing his skills and was terrified to fight him, kind of became obsessed. And after meeting Kenshin again, wants to have that like showdown they didn't get to have. Basically, and at the end, he also had like this ability where he can like paralyze people, and that's apparently how he's been trapping his targets and killing them by using this like psychic ability that he has with his sword style to like immobilize them. He does it with the mercenary, the target, and even does it with Shinosuke, but he ends up breaking it a bit. Turns out if you have enough of a strong will and I guess of a fighting spirit, you can kind of overcome it. And if you kind of already deal with it, then you can like overpower that as well. So Shinosuke starts moving a bit, but not to the point that's Kenshin. Well, so when they do have a bit of a fight, I forget his name. Kurigasa, here we go. Kurigasa. So, when him and Kenshin go blows, he's like, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not going after him anymore. I'm coming after you, Batosai. Saying, we'll settle this once and for all. Of course, this gets Kenshin scared. So he decides that he's not going to go back to the dojo, because if he really is after him, it will just draw the others into it as well, and that's the last thing he wants. So Kaoru, of course, was worried the whole night, so she didn't get any sleep until like the morning when she falls asleep. Shinosuke comes back, relays the message like, hey, something happened, Kenshin can't come back at the moment, but of course this gets Kaoru scared. Even knowing, them being around him would be a distraction and be a liability. She still is afraid that if he goes through with this, he might just end up wandering again, away from her. At this point, we can kind of tell, we can tell that she has developed feelings for Kenshin and doesn't want him to just up and disappear one day. So she finds him by the riverbed, tells him like, listen, I understand what's going on, but I want to come with you, I don't want you to just up and disappear. He's like, I'm sorry, you can't. If he is serious, he'll come after me full force, and I don't want any of you getting getting attached or getting involved in that. So what she does is she takes off the ribbon she's wearing, hands it to him, and says, I'm lending it to you. You have to return it, kind of forcing him to have a reason to turn back, basically saying like, listen, this is my favorite ribbon. You better not just go off wandering by yourself, disappearing from our lives without returning it. If you do, I'll never forgive you. At first he's confused, but then he gets it and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, and of course, I'll definitely, come back to the dojo and return it. So please, go back to the dojo where it's safe. And as she's about to turn, that's when Kuragasa in a boat pops up behind them both, or flows down the stream behind them both, grabbing Karu and sailing down the riverbed, pretty much saying like, oh, this girl must be your woman. If you want her safe, come find me so we can have our final battle. Of course, this triggers Kenshin immensely, to the point by the time the next episode starts, he receives a letter on where to find them, and Kenshin's playing no games. He pops up, and his whole demeanor is changed. At this point, we've seen Kenshin's kind of like the goofy, haha, he can get a little serious, but nothing too crazy. But in this moment when he pops up again and Kaoru sees him, he is like no nonsense. He is all about business, and this scares her a bit. She's like, wait a minute, he looks different, though his aura seems different. And Kuragasa's like, oh yes, I see it, I feel it. You're slowly turning back into your old self. You're becoming the Batosai again. He's like, oh, you must be really angry. And he's like, yes, I am. I'm angry at myself for not stopping you when I did. And I'm angry at myself for getting, Karu into this. And also, he kind of has like this speech pattern that he talks in. But the whole time he said that, he didn't. He didn't say his like speech pattern. He was talking more firm, more direct, more authoritative, and she notices that, and she's like, wait a minute, even the way he's speaking sounds different. She's like, what is going on? And she's like, wait, is this him? Is this the Batosai everyone is talking about, that everyone fears? This is the one that people remember? And then they end up fighting a bit, kind of giving no holds bar. And this kind of, again, freaks Kaoru out. She's like, wait a minute, like, the way he's fighting, the way he's acting, it's like, this isn't Kenshin, this isn't the Kenshin I know. She's like, no, this is Batosai, this is what I'm seeing. They end up fighting, and Kenshin ends up getting, it looks like Kenshin had the upper hand, but he underestimated Kuragasa, ends up getting stabbed in the arm. Wasn't serious, but it does throw him off for a bit. Kuragasa is like, you're still holding back, you're releasing your full potential. He's like, the way you are now, I could defeat you easily. This isn't the fight I wanted. So he immediately turns to Kaoru, using his technique on her, but telling Kenshin that he used a stronger version to it, to the point that it now has paralyzed her lungs. So he has about 2 to 3 minutes at most before she suffocates to death. Of course, Kenshin, hearing this, is not happy. He is, I guess you could say, this kind of snapped his last bit of resistance. He immediately attacks Kuragasa, like in the nose. It was crazy. That's like, he like vanished and popped up in front of him. Maybe I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. But that was a wild scene. Like, he had just, it was like 1-to-1, just boop. And then he pressed the wrong thing. Let's see. Um. Oh, actually, I think I might have just found the whole fight. Speaking of which, I actually didn't say this. The opening and endings for this, so good. First opening, a lot of people had like negative things to say about it. I like it. I like the first opening a lot. Second opening is okay. I didn't like it as much. First opening, no, that slaps. Second opening is okay. It's not as like the first one, but it's okay. Both endings for the remake slaps. So good. Actually, yeah, I think I just found the fight. You know what? Let's just do the fight. Let me pause that. Here we go. Get rid of that. Bring that up. Let's full screen that. Make sure the audio is on. Here we go. Let's turn that off. And yeah, so this is the fight of him and Gine. I think that's his real name. But I think Kurikasa was just like the nickname or code name he was going by. But I not remember. Gine was his real name. But yeah, this is the fight. It's so good. It's pretty short, like a minute 44. So make sure the audio is connected. And yep, all right. Son of a bitch. Start over. There we go.
いい目だ。怒っているな。
剣士。
つまらないな。
Okay, now that move right there, that's what he did after he told him that he had used that same paralyzing move on Karu, but used the powerful one that was now paralyzing her lungs. And he was like, "Oh, you know, there's only two ways to reverse it. Basically, she would have to overcome it herself, you know, with a strong will and or strong fighting spirit. Which, of course, at this point, he doesn't know that she's pretty much been trained in martial arts and fighting since she was a kid. But basically, being like, oh, there's no way a girl of her like level would be able to overpower it. The other way is to kill me." This whole time he's taunting Kenshin like, "Hey, what are you gonna do? Are you not gonna do anything? Are you just gonna sit here and let this poor girl die, without you so much as lifting a finger?" He's like, death by suffocation isn't pretty. I think he said that in the, old anime too, which is crazy. Hold on. Trying to fix. There we go. But yeah, that move. Let me fix. Redoing that made it bigger. There we go. But yeah, no, that move he did. That's what he did as soon as he heard all that, or how he was taunting him. Oh, son of a. There we go. Let me fix that. There we go. I used the keys that has my things on it by accident. But but yeah, after he told him that, he was like, "Okay, bet, okay," and then he did that. Let's do that again. Cause he had just vanished and just bitch. Mind you, he did that all with a dull side. Cause that's how he fights. But you'll see.
来い。抜刀斎の獅子名の由来、とくと味わわせてやる。
いざ勝負、姫の抜刀斎。早い。かわしたぞ。俺の勝ちだ。
死ね。
Yeah, so in that moment you see well, here he has it sort up, and then he turns it because this is the dull side right here. And in that moment he's taunting him more. He's like, why are you hesitating? If you don't hurry up and kill me, the girl's gonna die. So he turns the sword around and then does the whole shine.
死ね
Yep. And she of course, Kaoru, seeing this, she's freaked out because she's never seen Kenshin like this. Never seen this side of him, never seen the true, or at least seen like glimpse of the true Potosai. So this is freaking her out. And he does he say it in the here in the remake, or did he only say it in the anime? But I think in the remake he was like, because he has a vow to like not kill anymore. He doesn't want to do that. He's feel like he's done enough of that. But in this moment, I know in the old anime he was like, um, even if it means protecting Miss Kaoru and keeping her from from anyone who might try to harm her. If I have to kill again, I will. If I have to become Batosai again, I will. If it means keeping her safe. Hearing that like really drives into her. She's like, no, I don't want that. Let me put the music back on. She's like, no, don't do that. I don't want you to do that. Pretty much saying, please don't fall back into that. Don't turn back into that person, the Batosai, because, like pretty much being like, please don't use swordsmanship to kill anymore. So he runs to her, worried that maybe she had passed out, or worst, but at this point we know she broke the seal, broke the, spell that was on her. She reassures Kenshin that she's fine, but Jine pops up again. We think he's about to like strike them. Kenshin's like, listen, your shoulder's disconnected and I broke your dominant hand, your dominant arm, so there's no point in continuing this fight, just turn yourself in. And he's like, that's not an option. We think he's about to strike them both when he turns his other sword onto himself. Basically saying like, listen, did you really think I was doing all this just because? He's like, no, someone from the government pretty much hired me to take out those other people. So he's like, you have no idea how much this is going on. You think the world is maybe gotten better, but that's not the case. It's just as corrupted as it was back then. People are just hiding behind pretty words and hiding behind peace, when really there are people working in the shadows to assure that they come out on top. Which, kind of wakes a bit more into Kenshin, seeing how, like, if events like this keep on happening, that he might have to be forced to break that oath and, maybe have to fight that seriously, if it means protecting everyone. But in that moment, he rescues Kaoru, they go home, and yeah, let's see, the next episodes, pretty much is a pretty good arc too. It's excuse me, where we meet Megumi, episodes 8 through, I want to say 12 or 13, focuses them. Pretty much Megumi is this daughter of like a famous doctor that is being forced to make like this addicting drug by this greedy man who wants to, mass produces and spread it around the world so that he can make money. But she of course doesn't want that, so she tries to run away. But there are people that he's hired, the Obi-Wan group, being like personal guards for like him and his machinations. But of course with this gets Kenshin and the others involved. They end up coming to the dojo to try to get her. But she, which is funny because she ends up Megumi becomes very attached and even attracted to Kenshin, I guess. So to the point that, this gets Kaoru kind of upset, seeing this girl, fawning all over Kenshin, and then, of course, with her being there now, the people from the Onowan group are after her. So they come to the mansion. We learn more like by her power, like not her powers, but her abilities, like her knowledge in medicine and whatnot. At one point, her and Sanosuke have a bit of a disagreement because a friend of his, I guess, took the drug that she was forced to make, overdosed on it and die. So even though he does, he has like like an off feeling about her, you know, because she is the one who made this, but it wasn't like she made of her own free will. She was forced. But then we end up meeting the leader of the Rurouni, which was, oh fudge, what was his name? Why am I blanking on his name? Aoi Shiomori. Here we go. Yeah. Speaking of that, man, it is hard. Whether here in the old one and in the new one. Oh yeah. I'm not sure how much people feel. Let me see if I can find a picture. Or maybe I can find the fight. Let me see this later. Him and Kenshin have a really good fight in like episode, like towards the end. So like maybe episode like end of this little like 3 episodes, not 3 episodes, or 4 or 5 episode arc. Oh, actually yes I did. I found one right here that shows the fight between him and Aoshi Shiomori, which, oh my jeez. Let's pause that. Did I mute that? No, let me mute it. Let me bring this up. Pause that. Get that up. Okay, so we need some English subtitles. At least for this one. But that's fine. We're gonna watch the fight. Not, what's the word? I really think y'all can go, because at least the first season is both subbed and dubbed, so you can watch it either or. Turn that on. Okay, that's fine. Alright, let's pause this, and yeah. So they end up having this really cute, not cute, he's cute, by having this fight.
まさかこの男般若と同じ拳法か。
遅い。何？刀のつば元。
Damn. Glad he did that.
青し遅い。なんだこの遅さは。
This was such a cool fight.
死ね。
This was such a cool ass fight.
後継者でござる。こんなところで死なせはせぬよ。まさか。回転剣舞か。
そして改めて最強の称号を俺たちのものにしたくなった。
気をつけろケンジ。
飛天三剣流流光線大事でござる。二度
ケンジ。
大丈夫でござる。
死んだのか。
いや落ちているだけでござるよ。
Ah, such a good fight. Like, that's another thing with this show. There are so many good fights. Good fight scenes. But yeah, that was the fight between Kenshin and Aoshi Shiomori. Like, let me tell you. Oh, man. And they... I'm not gonna say that spoils. But... I should say, that's not the last time they'll fight. And... in the old anime, oh man, I hope they do that fight justice. That fight was so good in the old anime. So yeah, so basically we follow that, we follow them. What happens in the end is the guy that they were working for ends up getting like this huge like Gatling gun that he ordered from like overseas, and you know at this point he's tired of the only warm-up group, and Aoshi like disrespecting him, not following his orders. So he takes the Gatling gun and just pretty much goes in the room and just sees and starts spraying and praying and just starts going after everyone in the room. And at one point, Aoshi gets like shot in like the leg, falls down and can't move. So then his other team members that are there end up shielding him, dying in the process. And one of them was able to like jam the Gatling gun so that way Kenshin and the others could jump in, destroy it, and take out the leader. At this point, since Kenshin really mad, he did all this just for his own selfish greed and wants, causing the death of like 4 other people, 3 or 4 other people that were with him. No, it's like 4. Yeah, it's like 4 of them. Like all 4 of them jumped in, shielded him, ended up dying, and this really traumatizes Aoshi. And then I don't know why, but he has like some weird warped how he ends up blaming Kenshin for this, that his comrades. We find out, at this point they're more than just comrades. They're like kind of like family to him. So in his eyes, they feel like his whole family was just like killed in front of him. So he ends up taking their bodies. He like disappears at one point. Once the police jumps in and starts raiding them, then we're able to work their way out of getting Megumi off of any of the charges. She would have gotten, since she was forced to do all this. And then, but then we go back to try to find out where Aoshi went. He's disappeared. The bodies of all his fallen comrades are gone. We find out that he's gone and he's like buried them. Or he did something. I forgot what it was. He like did something like to the point that he like took their heads, and I forgot what he did exactly. But he like did something and somehow ended up with their heads. It was weird. It was like, what the fudge? But then that kind of helps. Megumi ends up going to like a nearby doctor, working with them, and is trying to change, kind of make up for all the wrongs that she was kind of forced to do. Let's see. There's another really iconic, like little, not really a arc. It was really short, but basically they run into this like this kid from like a rich family who has this master, but we find out the master was just using him, like his family's wealth and their power that they have, so that he could like build an army. Oh, excuse me, for people who want to follow in his belief that the strong should rule the world and whatnot, and the weak should just get in line. So they have a pretty good fight there, which is funny because I thought I heard that wasn't canon, but I guess it is. And then there's like a little like a little 2 episodes involving Shinosuke and some. He's like meeting like an old comrade of his who was around the same age as him that survived. And then they try to like do something against the government, and then tries not to get the others involved. Ken finds out, kind of sells it, and then they, kind of go back to normal. Then the next 2 episodes, which are actually pretty good, they follow like events that Kenshin kind of dealt with before he met Kaoru, which is funny because like towards the end of this like 2-part episode, kind of like following like this, him like meeting this female doctor who was disguising as a man and helping her through some situations at first, and then at the end they're like, oh wow, how long ago was that before you like got here? And he was like, oh, that was like the day before. And he was like, they were like, wait, what? They're like, all this happened, and then like the next day you end up coming into town and running into Kaoru. He was like, yeah, pretty much. And then oh, excuse me. And then the doctor, Megumi's there. She's like, wait a minute, because there was something that happened when Kenshin was telling the story. He was like, oh, she offered him tea and he couldn't taste it or smell it or something. And that kind of gets Megumi like kind of worried, thinking that maybe something's wrong with him, maybe he was sick, maybe he's coming down with something that hasn't been showing any signs. But Excuse me. But then he was like, oh yeah, whatever that was, like, really never happened again. He's like, since I've been here, that's never happened. I'm kind of being like, maybe it was the stress of everything, or maybe psychologically he was just like, it was like something was happening and maybe like was messing him up like physically and mentally. But then, you know, after kind of finding stability here at the dojo with everyone, meeting everyone, getting that friendship, he and guess it kind of like fixed whatever was going on, so that was pretty good. And so she's like, oh, okay, I mean, yeah, you seem to be fine now. Looks like whatever symptom that was went away. So kind of being like, you know, he's kind of found stability, kind of found peace here. But excuse me. Well, that piece kind of is short-lived. The next 3 episodes were crazy because, and this is kind of like really, it was such a good scene. And there was such a good fight in the original anime. Oh my god! So basically, we find out that we already know that there's like powers in the shadows that's working to kind of overthrow the government. They don't like how things are being handled now, and they feel like maybe all the stuff that they did are being pushed to the side. Oh, actually, I forgot my thing. There we go. But, so, let's see, let me get some water. One sec. There we go. So basically, what was I? Kenshin starts having like memory flashbacks of some fights he had, especially one with like one of the head captains of the Shinsengumi. This kind of freaks Kenshin out because he's like, why am I suddenly having these dreams of the past now? I never had these before. Which I guess you could say is kind of like a premonition. They go out to do something. I forgot what it was. I don't think it was to eat. I think it was like Karu was gonna go train at a dojo, and so the guys went with her. Except for Sanosuke, because he comes up later. See that they left, and he thinks they maybe went out to eat without him. A delivery guy comes saying, "Hey, I have a package for Mr. Himura. Just wanted to know, was trying to be like a passing seller," and he's like, "Sorry, I don't live here. The main people of the house are gone at the moment." He's like, "Oh, too bad, but you know, I still have all this stuff." But Sanosuke can point out that he's like, yeah, you're not fooling anyone. You're obviously not who you say you are. You like your hands are gave away that, you know, you've seen combat. And if you were just a regular, you know, passing seller, your hands wouldn't look like that. Trying to be like, okay, yeah, you got me. Turns out it looks like he's an enemy from Kenshin's past, coming to seek revenge. In that, he decides to leave a message by mortally wounding Shinosuke, leaving him pretty much like for dead. So by the time the others come back, Kenshin senses something's wrong. I think he like smells the blood. They go and they see Shinosuke just in the dojo, there's a hole in the wall, and he is just covered in blood with a sword in his arm. I think at that point Megumi had like run into them as well. So she's there, and she, you know, they do what they can to stabilize him, which they do. But this kind of gets everyone's worried. They're like, what's going on? Who could have done this to Sanosuke? What do they want? Of course, this gets Kenshin upset. But he is able to like recognize right away who did this. He ends up showing up again the next day? No. He sent like a decoy to distract Kenshin, and I guess also kind of gauge his potential at the moment. So he goes back to the dojo, saying that he's a police officer, that he wanted to relay some messages to Kenshin, you know, saying that someone's after him and whatnot. So Kenshin takes down the assailant, heads back and tries to hide, you know, his wounds from Karu, but she's like, listen, it's not safe to be out, someone's after you, and he's like, where did you hear that from? It's like, oh, the police, the police chief sent one of their officers over to relay the message. You know, shows him where he's been holding up, and that's when he's like, okay, so now you're out here just lying and saying you're a cop, you know, and even the name you gave was fake, and they're like, wait, what? That's when he revealed that he is the former captain of one of the former captains of one of the divisions of the Shinsengumi, the one he had a dream about, Hajime Saito, that he's here to get revenge on Kenshin, and they end up having this amazing fight. Let me actually, I saved the video that popped up. Cause their fight, ooh, it was so good. It was even good. It was good in the old anime too. Okay, here we go. I got this. Get that up. What was that? Get rid of that. I don't know. I think it's gonna play. Turn off the music. Damn it, it's not doing it. Here we go. Alright, here we go.
行くぞ。それで避けたつもりか。抜刀斎。
対空のガトツ。
腰をひねって串刺しだけは避けたか。無駄なあがきを。さらに速くなったか。した。
I remember during the old anime, at this point, his, where is it? Here we go. At this point, his, like, head thing had, like, cut or been, like, or broken the struggle. At this point, his hair is just out and wavy all over. He, you know, at this point, it's been all beaten up and cut up. There's even this really cool scene where Kaoru, she doesn't hear, but I don't know, I feel like the old anime kind of did it a little better. Kind of show just how he was slowly turning back into the Matosai, which was freaking Kaoru out, because, you know, she had already seen an event like this happening where, you know, he's fighting someone from, like, his past, and it's slowly bringing back out the Matosai. So, but I think at this point it doesn't happen. It happens here too, where some way through the fight, his like head thing comes off or breaks off, and then his hair is just flying everywhere. But like at this point in the fight, in the old anime, this had broken off. His hair was everywhere. He had like mouth blood dripping from his mouth. He was holding his like stomach, his like body wound, was breathing heavily, and just you could see in his eyes he was slowly turning back into Matosai. Oh, it's so good. I might look that one up too. That was good. But yeah, let's go back. Knocked him the fuck out.
もう殺す。
もう殺すのは俺の方だ。
深夜の時と全く同じだ。
Yeah, she noticed the change.
次は貴様の
I
首を
forgot
飛ばす。
that they kept his hair like this. I like that it didn't cut off, which is weird. I swear I thought it cut off at one point. Like his hair tie popped off.
勝負あった。
いつの間に。
やべえ。ありゃ首の骨をへし折る気だ。
Yeah, and then he tried to. After he did that, he took his jacket, wrapped it around his neck, and was trying to choke him with it. This is such a good fight.
そろそろ終わりにするか。
And then they get stopped, which is crazy. I swear I thought his hair cut it. The headband cut off at one point. So at that point, halfway through the fight, his hair was out. I'm gonna find the old one, cause that was. Kenshin versus Saito. Yeah, this is the I found the old anime, the old dub, cause like halfway through the fight, his like thing broke, like his hair, like the hair tie broke. So at that point, he was doing all this fighting with his hair just flowing out everywhere. I mean, I found it, but I just thought it was interesting how it did that. Okay, yeah. This is it. So let me do that. There we go. Alright. So this is the old one. This is the one that came out in the 1986 anime.
I will deny you your entire false existence.
This is probably like one of like real iconic fights. Like
What's
during the
wrong,
beginning.
Batosai? Are you going to allow her to feel my Gatotsu as well?
Yeah, nah, I think in the remake, I think he also threatened to hurt Kaoru as well, cause she was like sitting next to him, and he was like, "Oh, are you not gonna fight? Should I turn my blade to her?" You know, you get him, get him started. I don't know, the old Isle style just is very iconic to me. So good. Even though this is a 1996 anime, but I don't know, it's still so good. It might be this nostalgia hitting.
Prepare!
Oh, and the soundtrack, I forgot that.
He's not weak. Kenshin's the best there is.
Do you really think you won because you dodged one attack? Well, you're wrong, Batosai!
Like a Totsu attack from above.
Yeah, and at this
There
point
is
it got
no
like so
weakness in the
dark,
Miyazaki attack that
and
was
the
developed by Toshizo Hijikata, assistant leader of the Shinsengun.
yeah, you see as he's fighting, it's like bringing back memories.
Each time he swings his sword, he is gradually, unconsciously but surely returning to his former.
And at that point, and I think she did in the new one too. She's like, he's there. She like goes over to like help him. She sees like the look in his eye that it's back to kind of how when he fought Jine. Of course, Saito like agitated him, tells him like, get up, continue. So Kaoru jumps in, guards him. He tells her like, move out the way, or I'll go through you. Kenshin puts his hand puts his hand on her shoulder and gently like pushes her to the side, being like, thank you, but stay out of this. This is a fight I must fight.
Batosai, the manslayer.
Let's go.
He's gotten even faster.
Yep, see, there it goes. That's the scene. So it was that. Like after he disappeared and he hit him again, something like I guess the force of it snapped his hair tie. So the rest of this fight, he fights with his hair just out and flowing. I don't know. It feels different when that happened. It kind of just shows like how tough Kenshin was like really fighting with this, and how it was like slowly bringing him back to Batosai. So it's so good. So the fact that it like, and he looks so different, with him fighting like this, his hair just out. You'll see. Go look at. Or in this scene too. Ah, damn it, they didn't show it. But in that moment he's walking, he's like slowly to the side, so he see him slowly looking how he looked back during the war. And it's just and with the scene of his hair just flowing. It's so cool. I love this show. I don't know, and it's the fact that he's fighting with his hair flowing like that. It's just so cool. Okay, hold on. There's more. I saw part 2 somewhere. Where was it? Go back. Here we go. Part 2.
Stand up. It would be a poor ending to our first duel in 10 years otherwise.
The end. This wasn't my plan, but it doesn't matter.
If I remember correctly, too, in the original, this whole fight took place in the dojo. They never once brought it back. They never brought it outside. I don't know, I feel like with his hair out flowing like that, it makes the fight seem so much cooler. Kind of showing like he's pushing himself to the front that he didn't even care about his hair being out. And it's flowing all over the place. It's so cool!
It'll be your turn next. And it'll be your head.
And fleeing an enemy in front of you isn't an option!
And you choose pride over life as a samurai should.
Nothing on the new voice actors, but the old voice actor for Kenshin, so good.
This is the end!
I mean, I figured as much. I knew they weren't going to be able to bring back the people who did the old voices. It had been too many years. But so good. That's such a good scene, both in the new and the old. So at that point, I actually saw towards the new one. A police officer comes. We meet a official, one of the top 3 people in the government, basically coming, telling like, hey, you were only supposed to assess his abilities. You weren't supposed to like fight him or settle whatever grudge you two might had. Be like, we need him now more than ever. Turns out there's this guy named Shishio who's been working in the shadows, collecting other miscreants like him, and they are going to starting a revolution or a rebellion to start overthrowing the government, and they want Kenshin to assist them in taking him out. We find out that he was also kind of given the same mantle as Kenshin. That he said like he was kind of like Kenshin's shadow, while he was the Batosai of the day. He was kind of like the Batosai at night. Kind of did a lot more of the unsavory, like secret jobs. But because of all the secrets and stuff that he knew back then, the people he worked for saw him as a threat and a liability, so they tried to kill him and get rid of him. Also setting him on fire, burning like 99% of his body, but he somehow survived, and now is threatening to like reveal all the past secrets and whatnot that he knows, as well as to overthrow the government, that tried to get rid of him. So this is like torn Kenshin. He doesn't know what to do. The official tells him, I'll be back in like 3 days to get your answer. I do hope it's the one we're looking for. And I think the day he was going to go, I think it was the day he was heading over back to the dojo so he could get Kenshin's answers. One of Shishio's top assassins ambushes him, basically, saying, hey, we know what you're up to, Lord Shishio. doesn't approve or whatever, and ends up secretly killing him. So when some bandits come that don't approve of some of the stuff he's done, they end up killing his carrier, and they are going to go and kill him. When they open the carriage and they find out that he is already dead. So they are in shock. They're like, what are we supposed to do? We already sent out word that we were going to kill him. And they were like, listen, no one has to know the truth. And they just started hacking at his body, you know. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, they started hacking at his body to, I guess, kind of hide evidence that they weren't the one that killed him, so that they could get credit. It was a gruesome scene. Like, I didn't show all of it, but basically you could hear them slashing at him, you know, seeing kind of the blood flying. It was, wow. I don't think the old anime, you heard the like slashing, or them like slashing his sword into his dead body, but yeah, I know the new one was pretty, they showed a bit more, and I was like, oh god. So Kenshin goes, he sees what happened. They have his body covered with like tarp. I mean, that's their version of tarp. You know, sees the blood, and then he's like, this doesn't feel right. And then the assassin who was there is in the crowd, and he's like, hello, Mr. Homura. Just to let you know, that was a warning from Mr. Shishio. He's like, that was your warning to stay out of this, or this could be you next. Ugh, my foot's killing me. We're almost done, so we'll finish this up. They're basically being like, that's your warning, you know, don't stand in Mr. Shishio's way, or this will be you next. So with that, it kind of gives Kenshin that final resolve that he needs to step into this fight. He kind of probably didn't want to, but seeing what he, you know, witnessed and what this Shishio guy is willing to do to get his goal, Kenshin feels as if he has no choice but to jump into the fray. So at night he goes to Kaoru, tells her what happened, that, you know, yeah, he wasn't killed by the mercenaries that said that they killed him. He was killed by one of Shishio's men. It would also be set as a warning for all the others involved in this. She is, of course, in shock, and he's like, with that, I have decided that I have to go now. I can't stay here. This is too dangerous. He's willing to throw the world into chaos, and I might have to be the one to stop him. Of course, you know, this gets Kaoru upset. She's like, no, but, you know, they just want you to go back to being the Batosai, you know, go back to killing on their behalf. And he's like, I do know, but I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for all of us. There's no telling what Shishio's planning, the effects it would have on the innocent people. I can't let that happen. So in that moment, he hugs Kaoru's trying to find a way to persuade him not to go, but he is resolved. He holds her, telling him that he is sorry that he couldn't, you know, be with her, and ends up starts heading towards Kyoto, because it turns out that's where his hideout is, or that's where he is planning to stage this rebellion. So Kenshin leaves, leaving Kaoru brokenhearted, doesn't know what she can do, just crying, calling out Kenshin's name. Kenshin, of course, we know is hurt, but knows that he has to do this, and ends up leaving, heading out for Kyoto, and that's how season 1 ends. So season 2 picks up exactly where it leaves off. The old anime wise, this would be around like episode like 30 something. Let me see if I can find see episode list. I just need to find I know it's like 30 something. I know at one point there was like a kind of small filler arc that the anime did, the old anime. No, that's not it. I went way too far down. Okay. Looks like it was episode 31. That the old anime that this all happened. Like, uh, yeah. For the other fights, yeah. So like 31 is like pretty much the ending of where the 24th episode of season 1 ended. So it'd be picking up at what episode? Except, I guess the added up to episode 32, and onward of the old anime. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, first 24 episodes, season 1, dub and subbed. It's on Crunchyroll, so you guys can definitely check it out there. I don't know if it's anywhere else. Probably like maybe Hulu or Amazon Prime, but yeah. So right now we are in season 2, Rurouni Kenshin Kyoto Disturbance. Basically, you know, kind of following on to the next arc, going to Kyoto, dealing with Shishio and all his mercenaries that he has, and trying to stop him from pretty much trying to set fire to everything, and everyone getting more involved. There are a lot of characters that we'll meet. Aoshi will play a huge role in this, as well as some more people from the Oriwaran group. Will be introduced, like I said, to a lot of Shishio's men. Whether they are good or bad, we'll see their, like, I guess, perspective and their, like, reasons for fighting and doing what they were. Of course, we'll meet Shishio. More into him. And there also is another character that I kind of don't want to spoil, but it will play a pretty big role in Kenshin, with Kenshin, and what he needs to do to accomplish this goal. Which, I can't wait until he gets introduced. Such a good character. But that is it. And that is it for me, you guys. I hope you guys had so much fun going through this with me. Like I said, if you are a huge fan of the original 1996 Rurouni Kenshin, you are going to love this. Pretty much they cut off all the filler. It's just straight to the point, straight to, you know, the action and the main story. At this point, second season is already into the second, like, best arc in the entire anime, especially from the first series. So, like I said, once that is done, and I actually don't remember how long this is supposed to be. How long is the next season supposed to be? Let me see. Rurouni Kenshin. Like I said, a lot of people are hoping that they are going to continue it, like, all the way to the manga. So that means we'll get that last arc that was never, like, fully animated. Season 2. Well, yeah, watch it on Amazon Prime. Here we go. Okay. Anime list confirmed. I'm just trying to see how many episodes the second season's supposed to have. It's not telling me. So maybe they don't have a set number yet. Well, if anyone doesn't know what the set number is, let me know if they did announce what the set number is for season 2. If not, how many episodes? Well, that they're adding it all. Nah. Yeah, no, it's adding the last 7 ends. Okay, yeah. I mean, everything I'm looking doesn't tell me how many episodes season 2 is supposed to be. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be another 24 episodes, like season 1. But I guess we'll have to wait and see if it hasn't already been announced. Like I said, let me down below if maybe you guys already, and maybe it was confirmed on how long season 2 is supposed to be. If it's gonna be 24, maybe 12. I mean, I don't see how, unless they're gonna do like a two-parter, like a core 1 and a core 2 for season 2. Like, I totally kind of see them doing that. Like, maybe we get to like a major part and it just, maybe we have a bit of a pause and then we'll get part 2 of season 2. They've been doing that with a lot of animes, especially like a long series like this. But yeah, I can't wait. There's so much that's gonna be happening in this next arc. So many characters we'll meet, so many events, so many secrets and reveals, and so good. Like I said, I do hope they continue on with once we do get past the Shishio arc, that they will do the final arc. I'm not even sure what the final arc is supposed to be called or what people call it. But yeah, I want to get that final arc so that they can get the whole story. And did I say this already? I don't think so. No, I did. There's a manga that's been continuing on after the events of the main manga, kind of following like what happens after all this fighting and what happens after the final arc of the original manga. So I mean, who knows? Maybe that will get an anime adaptation, kind of like what happened with Shaman King. Like, Shaman King came back, did a full anime reboot following the story to the manga, and then its prequel series, Shaman King Flowers, ended up getting an anime adaptation like right after. Speaking of, what did they ever do with that? I know they finished. I know they finished it, but we'll. Basically, yeah, the Shaman King Flower is supposed to be following like events that happen, like following the kids of, you know, the main series. I know they did a season 4, but I don't see anything about whether or not they're gonna be continuing on. So I know they didn't. There's no way they did the whole anime. I mean, the whole manga. But I believe it's only like 24 episodes, I believe. Oh, 13. Oh wow, a lot less than I thought. Yeah, that's no way. So, and it was kind of like right after the original anime ended that they announced that they were doing Shaman King Flowers. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I've seen the reboot for Shaman King. I haven't seen Shaman King Flowers yet. Well, no, who knows? Maybe they'll continue on, bring on a season 2 or a continuation of that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of animes, a lot of old ones that's coming back, getting reboots, remakes. I'll say this, I'm blue in the face. I would love if they brought back Akame Got Killed and redid it following the events of the manga. Only because they did at some point. I would say it was around the time they got to that last fight with Seiryu and Mine. I say after that, everything else that happened in the show is different from what happened in the manga. And I would love if they redid it, kind of showing what happened in the manga, because there's such a huge difference from that in the manga. And speaking of, kind of off topic, but I really enjoyed Akame Got Killed. It was such a good series, and there were so many characters I liked it. Akame, Mine, Chelsea, Leone, Esdeath, Kurume, Tatsumi, Lubbock, Susanoo, Najinda. There's so many good characters, so many characters. But that show is so like basically but the podcast episode I did talking about Akame Got Killed, you'll see what happens. Like, if you haven't seen the anime itself, because yeah, the anime was wild. But that is it for me tonight, you guys. We talked pretty much going a little over 2 hours for this podcast episode. I mean, we did do the the quiz, which that was totally sucks that it didn't play the songs. At least, like, even if it was just like 5 seconds, they could have done that. but it looked like it was supposed to play, but I couldn't hear anything. But yeah, whatever. And then so that took about like maybe 20-30 minutes. Then the rest was just us talking about Rurouni Kenshin, me showing you guys scenes from the new anime adaptation and then the old one. If I could, I definitely would show the play the openings, but I know I would definitely get copyright for that. But definitely check them out. The opening and the endings were so good. Like I said, I personally prefer the first opening. First ending are really good. The second opening is okay, was my favorite, but the second ending, oh yeah, I never skipped that second ending. Like for the opening and ending for like first half of season 1 were so good, I never skipped either. And then second opening for like first season was okay, and then but the ending, oh that's good, really really good. But yep, so that's it for me tonight. I spun my wheel to see what game I should be playing next, and it spun it because actually what is the video? I did a video of it. Just like a show. Here we go. Let me bring it. Pause that. Let me get rid of that. That's fine. Yeah, so I did like a video just to show you guys of what. Cause like maybe I should do something to show like what game I should play next. So I spun the wheel. Okay, you'll see what game it picked. Weathering Waves. It chose that, which is interesting because that is an interesting game. It's one of those gacha games where you go around. It's kind of like Genshin and Honkai Star Rail. So who knows? I mean, not who knows, but. If you guys are interested, I would definitely like to see that game, because I do know it's a very popular game. That in, what is it, Zenless Zone Zero? That's another popular gacha game that people have been playing like non-stop. People still play Genshin and people still play Honkai, but I know Weathering Waves just like blew up the moment it was released. And then Zenless Zone Zero is like another really popular one that people's been hopping onto. I have both. They're free on Epic Games, so you guys can definitely go and check them out yourselves if you want to. You can also get like Genshin and Honkai, so you can also get them here on your PC. I'm also working on trying to play some mobile games, because there's this one I've seen people play that I really want to play. It's called like, what was it, Love and something? Like Love Deep something? I can't remember the name. Love in Deep Space? Is that what it is? Yeah, Love in Deep Space. I want to play that on the stream so bad, but they don't have like a PC version of it yet. Basically, I do have a video captured. I just need the cord to connect my phone into the video capture so I can plug it in, so that way I can play it. But once I get that, I want to play that game, because I've seen this game and it's just like, yeah, that's the type of game you can get addicted to, especially with those type of characters. Oh boy. But yeah, that's it for me tonight, you guys. Thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'll be doing. We'll be jumping into Weathering Waves. Maybe, I keep saying this, I do need to finish Danganronpa S. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll finish Danganronpa S. Just finish that up. That way that game is done and over with. And then we'll see. Maybe I'll jump into Weathering Waves. Maybe I'll play some of the other gacha games here. I have played Honkai Star Rails on my own, so I would love to like redo it again under, my VTuber account and kind of see what happens with that. But you gotta be careful with those gacha games, because yeah, you can end up throwing a mad bunch of money into that. But that's it for me. I hope everyone had a great Sunday or Monday morning, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. Bye. I will have the audio version of the podcast today up by like tomorrow, so you guys can definitely check out the audio version by then. So like yeah, sometime tomorrow I'll have the audio version up and running, and that'll be on all the podcasting platforms like Google Play, Google Podcasts, or whatever they call it now, and all the other ones. So yeah, so definitely look up for the audio version. That'll be up by like tomorrow. So yep, that's it for me. Hope you guys have a good night. Bye.